CIET NCERT presents the audiobook Santoor, Textbook of English for Grade 4.
Page 55. Braille. Let us read. On the left side of the page, you will find a QR code. Scanning the QR code will take you to additional resources about this chapter. Long ago in France, a little boy named Louis Braille was playing outside his home. He was 3 years old. His father, a blacksmith, was working nearby. Louis started playing with the tools around him. Suddenly, a sharp tool pierced his eye. He cried out in pain. Within a few days, he became blind in one eye. The other eye also got affected and he became totally blind. At the bottom of the page is the image of young Louis Braille playing with his father's sharp tools. Page 56. In 1819, Louis, who was 10 years old, got admission in the Royal Institute for Young Blind Persons in Paris. He learnt letters by using wood, cloth or pins arranged in pincushions. Around this time, an army man named Captain Charles Barbert de la Serre had invented something called night writing. It was an alphabet of raised dots and dashes that soldiers could read with their fingers in the dark. However, it was too difficult and therefore not a success. But Louis, now a teenager, became interested in it and he simplified it. He gave the world the Braille alphabet. At the bottom of the page is an image of alphabets A to Z written in Braille. Page 57. Thus, a blind person taught the world to see. Braille is a method of reading through touch. There is one Braille symbol for each of the 26 symbols, letters of English alphabets. But Braille requires more space. This is because the letters cannot be written too close together. Since Braille requires more space, a Braille book is thicker than a regular printed book. On the right side of the page is the image of a young boy reading in Braille. At the bottom of the page is a visually challenged woman reading using Braille alphabets. On the center of the page is a bubble that reads, Braille is not just for people with blindness. Even people with sight can learn Braille too. They then can write small poems and stories in Braille. New words that you learnt in this chapter: blacksmith, blind, pincushions, invented. Page 58. Let us think. A. Answer the following. 1. Describe the Braille alphabet. 2. Why was night writing not a success? 3. What did Louis Braille do to make reading easier for the blind? B. Think and discuss. 1. You may have seen people with blindness walking with a white cane. Why is the cane always white-colored? On the right side of the page is the image of a visually challenged person walking on the road using a white cane. 2. Imagine that the world becomes dark for a day and there is no light. What difficulties one might face on such a day? Let us speak. Close your eyes, pick up an object, keep the object back. Now complete the sentences and share them with the class. First, the object in my hand was dash in shape. 2. The object in my hand was dash. Choose between longer or shorter than my forefinger. Page 59. 3. The object in my hand was dash. Now add 2 more lines to describe the object. Note to the teacher. Keep a box of items in class for this activity. You may include items that are commonly found around. You may write the above sentences on the board to facilitate the activity. You may also include adjectives related to those objects. Let us listen. A few words are being read aloud. Listen carefully and repeat them. Spoon, splinter, spin, splash, speak, split, space, splendid. Note to the teacher. Put stress on the consonant cluster SPLR. Repeat each word 3 to 4 times. Give learners time to familiarize themselves with the sound. Page 60. Let us write. A. Write the following words in Braille alphabets. You can paste bindis. One example is done for you. The word cat is written using Braille alphabets. Now write man, boy, jug in Braille. In the space provided below, write your name in Braille. Page 61. B. Louis Braille lost his eyesight in an accident. Some time ago, a newspaper reported that a child lost one eye while lighting firecrackers. List the precautions that should be taken to protect eyes from harm. In the following sentence, there are a few underlined words. Pay attention to these words. 1. Long ago in France, a little boy named Louis Braille was playing near his home. In this sentence, was playing is underlined. Second sentence. The cats were sleeping when I reached home. In this sentence, were sleeping is underlined. 3. Samir was playing hopscotch last evening. In this sentence, was playing is underlined. All the above sentences are examples of events that started in the past and continued for some time. If the sentence is about one person, animal or bird, we use was plus action word plus ing. For example, the student was writing in his notebook. If the sentence is about more than one person, animal or bird, we use were plus action word plus ing. For example, the students were writing in their notebooks. The following sentences that you're going to hear describe actions in the present. Change them to the past as you will hear in the example. At the bottom of the page, there is a table with 2 columns. The first column is present and the second column is past. The first sentence in the present column is I am sleeping. In the past column, the example is given which says I was sleeping. Now similarly, we will hear sentences in the present column and you need to write the corresponding sentences in the past on the right side of the page where space is provided. First, the dogs are barking at the stranger. Page 62. Second, grandfather is searching for his spectacles. Third, Sheba is writing a letter. Fourth, he is singing a song. Fifth, we are playing kho-kho. Sixth, the man is using his hands to push his wheelchair. Note to the teacher. Draw the attention of the learners towards the words and phrases. These words indicate the past. Example, long ago, yesterday, last night, etc. Help learners revise the simple past tense. Exercise D. At the bottom of the page, there are 4 pictures given. In the first picture, a young girl is feeding squirrels and birds. In the next picture, she is talking to her grandmother who is drying clothes on a cloth line. In the third picture, the clothes are flying in the wind. And in the last picture, the birds sit over the clothes to make sure the clothes don't fly with the wind. Page 63. In the last image, the grandmother is hanging the clothes and putting pegs over them to hold them tight onto the cloth line. Now fill in the blanks from the suitable options that you hear. Was clapping, was sitting, was entering, was scattering, was hanging, was feeding. My friend Tarandeep told me an interesting thing yesterday. She dash her friends, the squirrels and the sparrows. She dash grains for them. Her grandmother dash out the clothes to dry on a cloth's line. Grandmother dashed the house when a strong wind began to blow. When she returned with the cloth's pegs, she saw a wonderful scene. The sparrows and squirrels dash on the clothes to prevent them from falling. Tarandeep dashed her hands with joy. Grandmother put the pegs on the clothes and Tarandeep set down a bowl of water for her friends. Page 64. Let us do. 1. Take a piece of paper with the help of a matchstick or the back of a pencil. Press hard on the paper to draw a circle, a plus sign, or a letter of the alphabet. Now close your eyes, turn the page over, and run your finger on the raised surface on the paper. Can you make out what the shape or the outline is? Now try the same activity with your friends. You may also use white clay for the same. Second, there are some children with low vision. Example, those children wearing thick glasses or holding a book too close to their eyes. Being a classmate and friend, how can you assist them? For example, bringing a printout of a paragraph with large fonts to help them read. Let us explore. Find out about the nearest resource center for people with blindness. Page 65. Self-Assessment 1. You may select more than one box given on the right side of the page for each point. 1. I can recite the poems with gestures. A. By myself. B. In a group. C. By repeating after my teacher. D. None of the above. I like reading poems quietly. Second, I can understand new words. A. By using a dictionary. B. After listening to my teacher's explanation. C. By reading with my classmates in a group. D. By reading the entire sentence again. E. By looking at the pictures. 3. I can answer questions A. In my mother tongue. B. In English. C. In English with a few words from my mother tongue. D. In my mother tongue with a few words of English. Page 66. 4. I can write A. By myself. B. After following my teacher's instructions. C. After reading my friend's work. D. With my teacher's and friends' help. 5. I was able to do all the activities A. By myself. B. With the help of my teacher. C. With the help of my classmates. And D. With the help of my family members. Note to the teacher. The assessment sheet should be filled by the learners. Teachers may include this as a part of learners' progress trajectory. Chapter 6. Braille. Ends here.
Santoor, you were just listening to this audiobook. Textbook of English for Class 4. Narration, Dr. Pranita Gopal. Sound recordist, Virendra Rawat. Assistance in production, Surendra Kumar. Directed and produced by Vimalesh Chaudhary. This audiobook is brought to you by CIET NCERT, New Delhi, India.